Yesu, nitakungoja, 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 ninakungoja Yesu, ninakungoja, 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 nitakungoja Yesu, nitakungoja, 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 ninakungoja Yesu, ninakungoja, ninakungoja, ninakungoja.
without further ado, let me introduce our panelists, and I'll start from my right.
Hello, my name is Jesse Njehia. I am a father, and professionally, I am a trained graphic designer, and I'm here today with my wonderful wife to my left.
Karibuni sana.
Yeah, and my name is Sunje here, and I am so excited to be on this show today. I am a data and innovations manager. I work in an organization called Dodore Kenya Limited. Yeah, and we have a baby. Oh, you said you're a father. Yeah, I'm a mother. You have one little sweet girl.
Yeah, welcome. Guys, I'm so delighted that you can be on set today. You are close to my heart. Jesse and Susan are known to me by name. Jesse, that's my son, and Susan, his wife, and he does amazing stuff with our graphics work. He helps us there. We are so delighted. Karibuni sana.
Asante.
And over here.
Thank you, Reverend Maggie. My name is Pastor Charity Gatimo. I serve here at Mamlaka Health Chapel, Rwaka, in the pastoral team. I'm glad to be here.
Karibu sana Charity.
Asante.
Always a delight to have
Asante.
you. And on my left, we have a special guest who has not also been with us. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Reverend Maggie. My name is Pal Wanja Ireri. I'm a business person, and I'm really excited to be here today, so thank you for this opportunity.
Karibu sana. We are so delighted to have you. And yes, of course, we have on my far left another guest. Please, Eunice, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Maggie. I'm Eunice Njoroge, and I also serve here with Maggie and Charity, and I work in the admin and HR department. And yes, I am a wife and a proud mother of 3 children. And thank you for having me on set, Maggie.
It was a joy. Karibuni sana. Now, our topic is the flip side of COVID, and I don't think I have a better team than this to help us explore some of the things that are on the other side. We are familiar with the stresses of COVID. If you recall, when we started, we focused more on the stresses and the burden that COVID-19 placed on our shoulders at home, at work, everywhere. And today, we want to look at the flip side. What has God been doing? Is God faithful through COVID? The answer is, of course, yes. But we want to hear it from the horse's mouth. So without wasting more time, let's hear from a business person. And that is Wanja. Pal Wanja is a business person. She's been in business for a while. But COVID came with a new turn. Let's talk about that for a bit.
Maybe a bit of background there.
Yeah.
I was employed up and until 2016. Then I ventured into business. It was a shaky time, but I can say God has been faithful just straight up from that moment when I decided that this is my next phase in life. So up and until 2020, I felt that I was in a good place. I was happy with my testimony then, and I was looking forward to even bigger and better things in 2020. So I do 2 things. I'm a financial consultant in auditing and in accounting, and I also run a small butchery right here in Rwaka. Yeah. So in 2020, for me, I was feeling we are at the correct place. This is where I need to be. And then Corona happened. So the outlook, when we heard of the first incidences in China, first you dismiss that item because you don't know just how far it's going to come. We've had SARS, we've had MERS, but it's never been to Kenya.
Right.
So fast forward, it's in Italy. Fast forward, it's in US. Then you know that definitely it is coming to Kenya, and immediately that happens, and you start having some form of doubt, some form of fears, what's going to happen. So in our financial consultancy, which we run with a business partner whom I've known since childhood, she's also a testimony in my life. We had a client whom we work for between April and June. But we normally do the work in that time so that we can concentrate on the clients who have a deadline in the month of March, which are NGOs mainly. But this client had insisted, no, I want my work done. We tried to procrastinate, we tried to push it forward, but no, they would not have any of it, and they insisted it has to be done now. And so when the first incident was reported of coronavirus in Kenya, I was actually at the client's place of work. It's in the Rift Valley, place called Litein. That's when the first incident was reported. We were just finishing our assignment and were supposed to travel back to Nairobi that particular Saturday. It was a Friday, traveling back to Nairobi on Saturday. And immediately after that, then you know what followed.
Yeah.
The lockdown came immediately after that. But when I look back at that experience, the insistence of the client, I find that it was not random, because it is also one of the major clients that we have within our firm. So here we've booked a big income just right when the uncertainty is stepping in. So as if that was not enough, I don't know whether that's the correct way to put it.
Just hold on there. Let's firm up that point. That God, we know that God orders our steps. Did you, in a sense, feel that God had ordered your steps around that time?
In retrospect, yes. Because there's no explaining why work that is done in May, even
Should be
June
done
sometimes,
earlier.
should be done earlier.
Yeah.
They want within their deadline.
Yes.
It was not absolutely necessary for us to be then there,
Yes.
but it was absolutely necessary for our livelihoods as an organization.
And who knew it better than God?
Who would know?
Amazing. Thank you so much, Waja, for sharing that testimony. And I knew you have more testimonies. But if you look at just that bit, that Corona, God knew Corona was happening, certainly. And he knew how to take care of you during that season. That is coolest, isn't it? Yeah?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And most of us have had to make adjustments. And that's business. But when it comes to career, let's start with you, Jesse. Around that time, Jesse, what was happening on your corner?
So my corner, with a bit of background, I'd spent 4 years working as an art director, and then I transitioned into part-time and freelance, a bit of consulting, still within the design and creative space. And so come 2020, I had my goals set out, all my plans looked like the year was gonna look wonderful. I had been approached by different organizations, been given even contracts that looked like they would run throughout the year. So I looked like there was work scheduled. Yeah. So as early as January, so everything was looking up. But then come March, and the pandemic has come, and organizations have to now relook at things. Some of the things that happened were that the contracts that looked like they were long term actually were shut down, put on pause, put on hold. And suddenly it looked like, I'm going into lockdown. I have no income for the foreseeable remainder of the year. And so that was a point of a bit of concern, a bit of stress.
Right.
I have a wife, I have a child. We're wondering, what are we going to do? It just so happened that the following month, my wife was also told that there would be a pay cut coming along. And so I was concerned, how will we deal with this rent? Yeah. But surprising thing happened. One of the clients I'd been consulting with just reached out and asked, would I like semi-permanent, so a part-time role, 2 days a week, but as an employee. So an opportunity to just spend 2 days doing work, and then the other days I could figure out my life. And I thought that was so timely.
Yeah.
The pay cut my wife had taken was going to be covered by this part-time role, and that was amazing. And I remember we had talked about, rent is coming. Should we negotiate with our landlord, tell him, things have changed, we're going to stop or need to change our arrangement. But then God came through in terms of this new opportunity. And I thought, it is only right that we communicate with our landlord that we will continue to pay our rent as long as we are able to. And God is enabling us, and we felt convicted that is something we should continue to do. And so in that way, we managed to stay afloat. Yeah.
Wow, coolest. Again, a testimony of this amazing God. So Susan, at that time, now your husband, so this is a couple talking. My husband has no foreseeable job. And then this amazing offer comes. What did you think?
Yeah, so at first, of course, I was surprised because I think the word around was, how can you get a new offer in times of Corona? People are
And
losing
everybody
jobs.
else
Yeah.
is-
People are
yeah.
losing jobs. People are getting, like pay cuts.
Yes.
And, and yeah. So how did you find it? I think it was LinkedIn. And so he had applied or something, and it was communicated to him. And so at first I was so surprised, but then I thought, this can only have come from God, because
Yeah.
the moment is already defines so much providence. So at least it was a happy moment for us. Yeah.
And on your side, you had received the news that you're gonna get a pay cut.
Yeah. So we started actually okay, and of course, like any other organization, especially startups, then so with Corona, it means that we can't do as much as we used to do. We cannot go to the field. Our operations are derailed a little bit. And so they communicated that, we need you to work only, let's say, 50% of the time. And so that translates to your pay cut. And of course, it's shocking. You're so used to your budgeting. Your
Yes.
budgeting, everything would fit. You have all your bills there, and you have time for the date night. Anyway, just as well, the restaurants closed. But anyway, so you're so used to this budget, and you have gotten so comfortable. And so you're supposed to adjust your life to that. But then I find that it was also slightly easy to do, because you're not, life is not ongoing as it used to be. Meaning, I'm not having to go to work every day. So I'm also home. Well, we could eat more. Perhaps, the food didn't decrease or anything, but that was an interesting space to be at. Yeah.
Wow. Thanks, Susan. And for Charity, right here at Mamlaka Hill Chapel, we know what happened. What happened to your job?
When Corona hit at first, of course, there are fears of, is rent still going to be the same? I remember we were planning with Pastor Kafi how we are going to tell our landlord that you're going to write a letter. Things are tough, and it's pretty understandable when such a pandemic hits the economy. It is only natural for things to then go down.
Oh, yeah.
But the first 2 weeks when I was home, I started getting bored. And I remember I called, I think, Pastor Kevin, and I told him I want to do something. Is there anything to be done? And I just came, I dived into this, live streaming, making sure Facebook is okay, the quality is okay, there are no hiccups. It was a whole process. And I don't have any training in it, but I pushed myself. And I knew God had given me this opportunity to serve Him. And now I was delving into, I remember I was even helping Henia in the kitchen at times to serve the food on Sundays. Just to make sure things are working. As opposed to just sitting down and thinking, oh, now that I just know media, there's nothing else I can do. So I made sure I plugged in different ministries, as well as even helping in the ministry of Ruaka Kids. Where I've been, teaching a lesson here and there, and doing the crafts. And to be honest, I can't take the credit at all. I can't take the credit.
And you did iLife as well?
Oh, yes, and I also done iLife. We've been doing the monthly sessions where we talk about different topics. Then Reverend Maggie surprises me and tells me, Bobo, how about we do midweek vibes with you? And I just said yes. Yes. And
amazing,
yes,
isn't it?
just to see how God has exposed some of the things that I never knew I had.
Isn't it,
within me, yes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And before, I want to invite Eunice to make a comment on the kind of transitions that we have had to make. Listening to everybody here, I think from Pearl, she was a banker, transitioned to business, and then after transitioning to business, COVID happened, and you had to do a couple of things which you'll tell us in a bit. Here is Charity, the same thing. Here is Jesse and Susan having to rework our way around our careers. Give us an initial comment when you hear employees who quickly jump in and ask, what can I do? Who call in to say, is there something I can do, like Charity would do, or Jesse and Susan who say, yeah, bring it on. I can, you know, a pay cut, and have the time I spend in the office. It's good with me. Yeah.
And you know what is inspiring, especially hearing Charity speak, is how much we draw boundaries with our lives. That I am cut out for this. This is what I am trained for. And please, if you want more, pay for it.
Yes.
Just place something on the table,
Yeah.
and then I'll be available. Otherwise, get someone to do that.
Yes.
And I'm trying to listen to the job that you did, and it looks like for 7 people.
Yes.
And at that point, you're not even assured that you'll have a salary at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we bring in God, really, and say, you know what, this is what you have put in me, that this is really the stuff that you have put in me. I will present it back to you. I'm offering myself to you. Use me as you wish. So you find a gap in the children's ministry. Never mind that you've never taught a child before.
Yeah.
You're in the kitchen. The largest meal, Charity, you've cooked, unless you have visitors, is for 2, I think, for you and Kathy. You're there holding a camera. If you ask me the weight of a camera, I do not know. You know. And there you are. You're saying, I am here, Lord. It is in the morning. I am awake. I am alive. I have good health. I want to offer myself to you. Use me, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's a beautiful attitude for employees. Then we surrender ourselves before the Lord and say, you know what? Use me today as you see fit. And that's how God tests us, tries us, and finds us as faithful servants, and continues to grow us and open and extend our boundaries, and continues to bless the work of our hands. So then he becomes the real employer.
Yeah.
There's an employer called someone, there's an employer, there's an employer called Mamlaka Hill Chapel, but the ultimate employer then becomes the Lord.
Wow. Let's firm that up, because that's church. We could say that's church. In church, we can offer ourselves. But let's hear, just in an earlier conversation, you talked about how you got this contract, and with 2 days a week, and then you ended up working the whole week.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that for a bit.
Yeah, so even just to mention that this contract came in April. So we're deep in lockdown. These people are hiring. And so that is already a miracle in itself, that someone is looking to hire someone during this pandemic. And so even, the work came in. They had a lot of work. The organization, the Kenya office supports the Uganda office. So the work I was going to be doing, some of it would end up in Uganda, because different lockdown and restrictions meant different things were possible elsewhere. And so what was originally a 2-day arrangement, the work was just obviously not going to be achievable in that space of time. And so I remember the entire month of April, literally worked every day of the week. It was not comfortable, but I know that this is a gift I have received from God in terms of the job and the opportunity. And my role is to just perform at the very best that I can. I was reminded by my dad that, you know, it is the Lord who multiplies your efforts. So you must be diligent, even with this little job. I could have easily said, you know, no, I know the arrangement was like this, you should change it. Eventually, we did end up having a conversation around, okay, how can we structure this just so that it makes sense, even on my end. I know we've already agreed, I've signed on to the contract. I don't want to backtrack on my end, but I want to still meet the best standards as far as the quality of the work, and just be diligent. A few nights I missed opportunities to spend, you know, with family, because I needed to meet deadlines that were now being imposed. But at the same time, I must be doing this. This work is important, and not just my employer now, like Eunice has just mentioned. This is unto the Lord, as if it is unto the Lord. And this is a gift I've been given, even in terms of the creativity and my ability to work in this as a graphic designer. And so I was doing it as if unto the Lord, truly, because I truly believed my rewards would only be found in heaven, coming from being a part-time pro.
Wow. It sounds like this is a Christian distinctive. where you know that your employer is your master is not your employer, the one who signs your paycheck, is the ultimate, is a king of kings, our master, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
And Susan, you confirm that in your note. Yeah, confirm that.
Yeah, I confirmed that, and I actually, because I know he told me he had 2 days off, and I could see him working Monday to Friday. So I would ask, wait, aren't your days only Tuesday and Wednesday? Well, and Monday and Thursday and Friday, and I would see how it would drag to the other days. And I also had a similar experience because of also with the cat. I was actually excited about staying home, and perhaps that I will talk about it later, like really just doing more in the house with our baby. But I had the same struggle at first. It started as a struggle where I'm not able to easily draw the line between what I will hear around me in terms of my rights and obligations as an employee. So I'm only being paid 2.5 days. But so that is my right. I'm able to say no. I don't want, like I can't join this meeting because today is not my working day. And I see how feasible that is. I see how that would translate into my rights, and I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. But I also see the amount of work. And I see the need in the organization. I want this organization to thrive because more than my salary, which I love, I also love the organization. I have bought into this mission. I love it. And I would want it to thrive. And sometimes I will be caught up in my work and thinking, I can actually do one more day. Or this week, I will work Monday to Friday because I know it translates to us getting better sooner. Because I can see the need is there, the amount of work is there. And of course, I like that I have my good husband who is my king and priest. Anyway, in terms of leading me there also, because he was going through the same. And so we will encourage each other in knowing that we are serving as unto God, and we want to put in the most excellent work, not really the bare minimums, but the best I can give at this time. If I have the time, why not? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Susan, Eunice wanted to say something.
Yeah, because her statement is really critical in the sense that a lot of us, even Christians, have jobs. We love our employer at the end of a month because of what I take home. But my foot is out if I get something better, not in time. As in, we have a love-hate relationship with our employer, not for any reason, just because you're an employer, you're a bad person, but I still want the pay. But then I decide that I will give you my bare minimum. Never mind that I may be free, but I won't give it to you. I withhold it. And back to my statement, that I feel like it's a point of growth for many of us, where I say I will give my all. I'm sure for Jesse at some point, what confirmed he was on part-time was his paycheck, but then he was required much more. But you could have said, I won't, because we signed a contract. But then you have a higher calling, so to speak. You have a greater love for God, and you realize that God is using their employer to be your provider. And so you give your all in all until God decides otherwise, or God shows you something better to do, like he did for Wanja.
Yeah, and Wanja, let's talk about the place of being, where you work or serve from a place of being. Let's talk about this kind of Christian. Talk to us about the kind of Christian who goes beyond the call of duty.
It's easy to stay within what is defined for you. It's easy to work with a KPI. For example, as Jesse has stated, you have your days marked out for you. You have your roles to do. But it's always important to go over and above what it is that you have been, assigned. And there's also this aspect of, am I a good Christian, or have I done the correct thing? I think it's called a Galatian Christian, right? So here you are, and you're counting your blessings according to now how good you have been as a work Christian or as a business Christian. So you say, since I have been good in this particular way, then this and this is also due
To me, yes.
But as you work, then you come and learn that really it's not like that at all. What you get is actually because God is love. At the end of it all is because God loves you. It's because he cares for you. It's because of his many promises to you as his daughter or as his son. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think we're going to take a short break. And then when we come back, we want to watch a small clip and see the benefits of being at home for a mom. Yeah, stay with us.
Sema nitaweza kuikabili kila hali, kwani Kristo unipa nguvu. Na tena lasema wewe unawapa uwezo walio hafifu, na wanyonge unawapa nguvu. Lakini Bwana, sina nguvu, sina uwezo, niko hoi kwa uchungu. Nirudishie nguvu kama ulivyoahidi, nirudishie nguvu kama ulivyoahidi. Nguvu zako Bwana zitanisimamisha, uwezo wako Yesu utanifanya imara. Sitaogopa.
welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for staying with us. We are ready to share with you the next half an hour, and we start by hearing what comments are coming from you, and make a few comments and a few shout-outs to those of you watching from far and near. Welcome.
Again, thank you for allowing us to minister to you in this way. I'm going to mention a few of you who joined in among the first ones. We have Angela Wanjiko, karibu sana. Andrew Mwau, Lynn Mercy, karibu sana as well. Sarah Ndabi, we know you very well. I have seen her really reacting to most of our videos, so welcome. Harriet Dodea is here. Ooh, she's a friend to someone in the panel. We have James Gishuki, karibu sana. Muihaki. We have Kim Tim and Essie Missy. S is Esther. She works here in the pastoral team as well. So a few comments. Angela says she's tuned in kama kawaida. Then Angela is also saying, giving your all has really been tested in this season because it is so easy to get away with the bare minimum. But as you say, we need to remember that ultimately we are working for God in whatever field we are in. We have Piling Kasara, she's tuned in as well. Buthia Ndongo as well, karibu sana. Kathy has also tuned in, welcome. And she says, so refreshing to hear testimonies out of this very tough wave. So they are really encouraged by these stories of giving of ourselves to the Lord in his vineyard.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wow, thank you so much, Charity, for sharing with us those comments. We certainly don't have a question, so I think the comments are good. We are encouraged that our people are listening in, and we want now in this second part to explore some of the lessons that we have learned during this season. I'm sure there are many and we cannot share. Let's see here how it's been like by watching a short clip. There's a very short clip on this little baby and this mom who has been at home during COVID, worked half time, and learned something about parenting. Let's take a look.
Duck. Show me raccoon.
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack.
Show me raccoon.
Raccoon.
And what is raccoon holding?
Balloon.
Balloon. Good job. Where is Cherry?
Hello, balloon.
Where is Cherry?
Daddy.
Good job. And rainbow. Show me rainbow.
What's rainbow?
Where's the rainbow?
Good job.
And the whale.
Huh?
Last one, where's the whale?
Where is where? Where is where?
Oh,
Good job.
well done.
Well done, Abby. Try again another day. A very good job. You shine, you shine, you shine like a star. Yay!
Wow, yes, from that clip, I think you have learned we have seen a little child on a mat. And that I must say, first, that's my grandchild. I'm so happy to say that. But I want to hear from Susan. How is it that this little child, 2 years old, hardly 2, can name the animals like that? Aww. How did you get there?
Yeah. Wow. So I think the two, I said before that I had the privilege. Now it is a privilege. Actually, looking back, the pay cut, or rather the 50%. At first, of course, I will think, oh my gosh, how will I do without this part of the budget? But then it's also a blessing in disguise because it gave me so much time. Gave me so much time with my family. And I won't even mention how I was stuck in a small office with my husband. We were working from the same tiny office, and so we really just got into each other's space. Yeah. But then there's this baby who I actually got to spend so much time with. Initially, I would go to work. I was expected at work at every 8:30, and I would leave at 5, and with traffic, meaning I wouldn't see her in the morning. And at night, perhaps she would be a bit drained, so it's bedtime or something. So at least now I would organize my work well to be able to give her breakfast. And then I don't know, I love knowing facts about babies. Like I really do enjoy topics on child psychology and knowing how much they're able to grasp even at a tiny stage. And I love the book. There's a book, there is a wonderful book, everything about two-year-olds that you need to know that you got us. And so knowing
It
that
was her birthday.
it was
I
her,
think
yeah,
it
on
was
her
her
2-year
second year birthday.
Yeah.
Then
So
I got
just-
the book, yeah.
Yeah, just knowing that I can actually expose my baby to so much, meaning spending quality time with her, then would enable me to show her that this is a raccoon, or this is a monkey, or this is a teddy bear, or colors, or counting, and ABCD, and songs. So those are some of the benefits and some of the things I have enjoyed doing at home. Yeah.
You took her to the clinic one time.
I took her to, in this.
Yeah, in this season.
Yeah, I did. I did.
And
Oh
then,
gosh.
And then she saw an animal on the wall.
Oh yeah, you remember? I
that was
like that.
amazing.
I see. Yeah.
I'm tracking with her life.
So yeah, we were seated in the. It's more like a creche, but you know the place where all babies stay. Of course, there were not toys because of the whole guidelines, hygiene issues. So we are many babies, many parents, and the walls are painted because you can imagine babies need to be entertained. So there are elephants and balloons and lions and all manner of things. And so my baby, she also likes to read a lot. So we found a nice deal, by the way, for books, like a book at 100 or 200 shillings. So we don't have a reason to not buy her books and read with her. So because of that, she saw everything on the wall, and I felt a moment of gratification and a moment of happiness because she could point out everything on the wall. That's a balloon, mama, elephant, lion. And the other parents were like so impressed, and other babies, and I really enjoyed seeing that. Yeah.
So it's been rewarding
It's been rewarding.
for you to spend more time with your baby
Yeah.
and get to teach your baby
Yeah.
to nurture that child.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even to see the expectation she has. It's like there has been a routine where she spends time with us, and she has gotten to love books. So she will wake up in the morning and call out for us, and she will want to be read for or to go and see things on a mat. So even the expectation and enjoyment that she has, oh my, it's so rewarding.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I like that.
Yeah.
And as a father, Jesse, who is also bringing up a 2-year-old, what does that make you feel when you see you have more time with your wife and with the mom of your child, and all of you are together at home?
This wife of my youth is wonderful. Corona meant we ended up being that little office we have now. It's almost a store, really. We just decided, there's a table, 2 chairs, our computers can be there, the Wi-Fi connects still there. So when it's time to,
Would you like to say who takes the bigger part of the table?
we'd rather not say now. But, it's shared equally. It also doubles as a man cave, so yes, I get some priority sometimes. Just to be tucked away in a room, we were totally in each other's space.
I must interrupt this.
This is a man
So
cave
you
and
had
it's an
it, you had it,
office.
eh?
So
No, I think I know what takes the larger space on the table, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I do know.
I think I do too.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
start saying that his desktop is bigger
That's
than my
the
laptop,
thing. I know.
and that's how
I
I'm pushed
suspect his
to the
laptop
corner.
Yes.
We
So it's
feel
not
you-
Jesse
you
who
need-
takes
And
the
when he
bigger.
has a call, he has to take it in the office. When I have a call, I have to be. Wow.
It's a tough space to be in. But yeah, we were in each other's space, but we kind of got a rhythm around it as well. We were able to kind of work past, we've never had to be colleagues or sit next to each other and figure out how Susan types louder than me, maybe. I don't know. But, it's just little things, but we were in each other's space so much. We have navigated and found good systems at work. If Abby decides that the nanny is not appreciating her enough, she comes and knocks on the door, demanding to enter. So a quick break does much for a 2-year-old. We let her in. A bit of keyboard bashing happens. She types a few things. She's happy. Everyone's happy. We let her back.
Yeah.
And so just the opportunity to spend time, even as a dad, just to see Abby and the video is recorded by me. Sue is the teacher instructing, the video recorder. So even just to be present enough in her life to see things happen and just to be a part of the little things, it's a wonderful thing. Yeah, and even just to be able to impart, the knowledge of God. We found out books are a great thing because they help you not only to escape into a childlike world, and even just to see her fascination as she learns and experiences different things. So we have a kids' Bible. It's 100 stories of Jesus' miracles and wonderful life. And so that's the bedtime routine. And it's Daddy who reads during bedtime. So we sit together and we just have a 10-15-minute session. We just go through the book, and she calls it Read Jesus. She says to me, Read Jesus. Daddy, read Jesus. And I cannot get away with it, and it has become a routine. She knows when it's bedtime once, she's in her pajamas, Daddy, read Jesus. And she'll not be satisfied until Jesus has been read in that house. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to even just be home enough to participate in the development and growth of our child.
Say something, one word about the catechism. I had that. Did I hear something about that?
Before the 100 stories about Jesus, I downloaded this app. It's based on the Heidelberg Catechism.
We were all spared. We were spared by this book. There was a catechism.
Just to be able, even for myself, just to know, what are these things we say we believe? And why do we believe them? That's where I began before I bought the book. So we were catechizing our child.
I once walked in and I heard Jesse ask the baby, why do you believe in God? And who is God the Father, the Son? And I was like, poor baby. Poor baby who has to grasp who the Holy Spirit is and what the Trinity is. We love you.
Oh, it's amazing because we've had couples have fought. But to hear that there's a flip side is that you can use that time to nurture faith in a young child. You can navigate shared space with your wife or with your spouse. We appreciate that. That's very nice. Yeah. Go ahead.
Maggie, I actually have a question. Even as we share, there's someone who's asking. Harriet is chairing Youth and Jay here's. Whoop Whoop have a question. What character of God have we all learned or experienced the most this season?
And I think that's a good word. That's a good question because we all have. And I think we get to share that as we continue on, yeah? Remember that a character of God, an attribute of God must have come out more stronger for each person allowed this time. Thank you. I think when we're talking about your development as a career person, well, a consultant and a business person, there are a few things that you've learned, especially from the business angle. Could you share that with us?
From the business angle, I have learned the need to pivot. I think that would be the word. It's not possible to continue doing things the way you normally would do them. January to June is an auditing season. So the brief is talk to the client, they engage you, you go to the client's place. That's just how it works. And you do the work there. Had to pivot that. Now you go, take the client's documents, you bring them to your office, and you're able still to do what was impossible due to the restrictions that had been brought about by COVID. It was necessary to pivot and to do so quickly. So auditors are not very tech savvy. We are not. We are paper, pen, ledger. So even that has been challenged in these particular times. And there is more willingness, there is more uptake of tools that are available now that as auditors and accountants we had not been taking into consideration so that we can be able to continue to do business.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you started a butchery, you said?
I started a butchery also in 2017. And a huge trial, also a huge testimony. Because at first, being in a man's space, you really don't know what you're doing. But God has been very faithful in his provision of even people to walk you along that journey. So where you go to the market and you buy the wrong product, someone comes and shows you, they just have mercy on you, like, no, that's not what you need for your shop.
Yes, yeah.
So let me show you what to do. And they go, they point it out, and they go, they show you a supplier. Just that kind of hand-holding that mentorship is not usually there. Normally, you're supposed to learn on the ropes. And also, even at this time, after the COVID situation happened, and in the first few weeks, we were like, COVID can be biashara, you know. Everybody panic bought.
So guys bought in panic.
Guys bought in panic.
And I hear some ate in panic.
That I can attest, because in the first few days, as people are finishing the tissue paper in the Carrefour and other supermarkets, they were also doing the same thing to the meat.
Finishing the meat.
They were finishing the meat. They'd come and buy in bulk, and we had some really good sales in those first 2-3 days. But as the situation progressed longer than had been predicted, because we had all given this corona situation 30 days. So after 30 days, we're supposed to go back to our normal lives. It wasn't happening. And as Sue has pointed out, a lot of people had their incomes slashed.
Yes.
Yeah, and that one, as a small business person, it affects me directly, because where you now realign your household budget and expenditure, and one of the things that is also cut is just how you spend money on food, money on these are things that you would consider luxurious.
Yes.
So we took a very big hit in terms of sales numbers, in terms of clientele, and we started to panic. To truth be told, now you start looking. You've bought, it's here, it's 2 days. You're selling a perishable item. So what do you do? But even in that, again, we saw God coming through for us, because we're in real group with Big Dave. I don't know if he's somewhere around. So since he knows what I do, and we had shared it in real group, then he calls me, you know what, the church needs meat. And so he gives me Mary's number, he gives Mary my number, and she calls me. And since then, I have been a supplier right here in my church, which is, it made a huge difference in the situation that I was going through at that particular time, in terms of the sales, in terms of just being able to have a provision through the COVID period. Yeah.
Wow. I hear you saying God was your provider.
God was
around
my
that
provider.
time.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. Our time is looking like it's going. So we want to wrap this up. And in our wrap up, let's say, what lessons have we learned? What can we share? What can we tell the audience, Eunice? You're in HR, you're in admin. What can you say, a word to employees?
Yeah, thank you, Maggie. I think, and I don't even have to go far. Let me just use your examples. I've learned, as you have spoken, and I know generally that we may not agree, but every job that God gives to us is a gift. It's a talent that He has put in our hands. It's a staff, like the one that He gave to Moses. And so I think we need to change our perspective and look beyond our employers and look into God, the one that has provided the jobs. And we have a responsibility. We are accountable to God for how we spend our minutes, how we spend our hours. We have a responsibility to God, our commitment to our employers. And so I would urge employees, look beyond your employer. Know that God ultimately is your provider, and He's holding you to account for that gift that He has placed on your hands. And at the end of the day, we need to, all of us, know that we will either be told or not, welcome home, good and faithful servant. You did all that I called you to do. And that's what I would say to employees. But allow me to add to employers as well, because they also have a responsibility. I think we do have a responsibility to acknowledge that employees are a critical part of every business. And we can have everything else, but if you do not have employees, we're lost, so to speak, and we will not be able to meet our objectives. And so we have a responsibility to nurture, to train, to support, and to stand by our employees. But better than that, I think we need to acknowledge people who give their all to us. That I know you are doing beyond the call of duty, and I will remunerate you as best as I can, as the Lord enables us. So then we are not struggling with high turnover of employees because we do not provide an enabling environment for them. Yeah. And also, we will also be held to account for what we did with the lives of the employees that the Lord has brought before us. Yeah.
Well said. Thank you very much. And as a couple, Susan and Jesse, would you have a word in season for couples this season? Who have gone through uncertainties, shifts, changes?
I would say that I think in this COVID period we look for provision, but what we have seen even between us is perhaps the provision is time. We may not have gotten the money, but we were provided time. And so between me and Sue, we spent a lot of time together in each other's spaces in our office. But through that, we have been now married almost 4 years, but I felt like there were revelations of each other that were made that, like, yeah, you mean, no, that's like I'm now getting to understand some things better about you.
Yeah.
And at the same time, even just the time spent with Abby, that was time given. I almost could not have manufactured that on my own. It would have taken a much longer time. And to see that even this little investment in terms of the time, we're not spending the entire day together, but the little time we're having, we are imparting knowledge, wisdom, perhaps, and even hoping that, we are raising a child who would one day become a godly woman herself and will have chosen the faith because it was presented to her early. So that, I feel like we were granted provision in a different shape. And so because we have, when you get that provision, it is important to take it. Perhaps forget maybe how you're asking for money, but perhaps you've been given something else. Perhaps you've been given that money, perhaps it's to give towards other efforts and support other people. So I think that is something to look at provision, not just in the sense we just think of just the money. But to just look at it in maybe just look around you, the more holistic approach.
Yeah,
I think
that's profound. Yeah, I like that. Susan, do you want to?
And I won't belabor the point. Really, I think he's done a good job. I think it's Ecclesiastes that says, time and chance are given to everyone. Yeah. So I feel like this quarantine comes with time mostly, and also chances to be a better parent, a more present wife, spouse. Yeah. So please remember that scripture as you go through quarantine.
Profound as well. Charity, speak to employees right now who may be struggling and wondering, should I do what my JD doesn't say? Yeah.
In an earlier conversation was saying that, you wait on God and you wonder, what is God going to do in the next few weeks or years or months?
Yeah.
But you will not see it if you don't avail yourself, if you don't serve Him.
Yeah.
And we're also saying, there are people who feel like you're entitled and you feel like, nikitoka hapo nje, you don't know, people are going to look and sort after me. I mean, there's great, advantage in who you are as an asset. But then again, in Mark 10, it says that for the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. And give his life as a ransom for many. So if Christ himself, fully man, fully God, would come to serve, why don't you serve?
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you so much. Great wisdom here. And I wonder whether, Pearl, you have any parting shot too?
Yes. If you're struggling to trust God, or you're looking for his faithfulness, and you're saying, what is it going to be like tomorrow? Because it's a question that many of us have right now, especially if you're in business. Things are, the outlook does not seem like it's promising. Everybody is scaling down. I want to encourage someone at this point that God is indeed faithful. He's faithful to his promises. And when he says that he's a provider, I can testify and say that indeed he will provide for you. So let us continue to trust him. Let us continue to expect from him. And do what we can to the best of our abilities. Then he will be faithful to provide. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I cannot say thank you enough to each one of you From that corner, from Eunice, thank you so much for your time and your insights. Pal Wanja, thank you for sharing with us and letting people know that there's a testimony. God is trustworthy. God is a provider. Charity, amazing. You amaze me every time we do the show together that you present all of you to the Father to use as he ought, isn't it? Yeah, that's coolest. To Jason and Susan, blessings to you. You have spoken as a couple and as professionals, and those are wise words you've spoken both as a couple and as professionals. And we thank God for your time, and may the Lord continue to prosper you. Thank you guys for your time. And to our amazing audience, I don't know that the audience remembers that you're also amazing.
Yes.
I think Mamlaka Hill Chapel is the most amazing church ever. Both city and campus and our visitors as well. You give us great joy to minister to you. So thanks so much for your time, for tuning in and for your comments, your questions, and for letting us know that you're there and you're watching. May the Lord bless you. We'll see you next time.